You are listening to KC Sports Network, the #1 podcast network for today's Kansas City sports fans. With former players from your favorite teams, informed perspectives, and former insiders, this is the place for you. KC Sports Network is proudly presented by Emprise Bank, your partner in possible.
What is up, Chiefs Kingdom? Welcome back to One on One, a KC Sports Network podcast. I am your co-host, Mike DeVito, here as always with Big Jeff Allen, and we are bringing you all things Chiefs football from a player's perspective. Big Jeff, what's up, baby?
Man, it's a new month.
Bye week.
What's it? November 1st?
November 1st.
We got to talk about Cookie Society. You know,
I just got the email today.
New month, new menu.
I looked at these options, man. Just, you guys, again, I need to know at some point what goes into coming up with all these incredible ideas. I mean, what you guys come up with is just, and everything you guys do tastes like the theme, right? So this month we have banana pudding.
Yes, sir.
Frosted caramel, frosted oatmeal, cookies and cream, German chocolate cake.
Yes, sir.
Sweet potato pie, Texas toffee,
and apple pie.
So take, for example, sweet potato pie. Yeah, apple pie.
Yeah.
Those really taste like those. Like
I love that you keep bringing up sweet potato pie. I'm going to keep mentioning, you know. It's a cultural thing. So, you know, everyone's Thanksgiving is different. In our home, we have the sweet potato pie. We do have pumpkin pie at the table.
Right.
But our go-to is sweet potato pie and then apple pie as well. So this menu was inspired by the holidays. I mean, we got Thanksgiving right around the corner. Christmas, we're going to have a special, you know, menu next month for Christmas. But this month is based off of Thanksgiving. All of those treats that you see on the table on Thanksgiving.
Oh,
that's what we're trying to serve this month.
That's Jeff. When I saw this, I thought, what a perfect time. So you have Thanksgiving dinner, and then for dessert, you get all the good stuff and the November 12 pack out there.
Yeah, man, a lot of good stuff, man. And make sure you order a shirt, but size up because you're gonna gain some weight this month.
That's right. I'm ordering. I got my shirt. I'm going to order a new one. I'm telling you, the shirts you guys have are fantastic.
Yes,
I have to get in touch with that guy who does them because they're incredible. But check them out, cookiesociety.com. They ship nationwide. The new menu is out. Get that November 12 pack. You get all those great things we were talking about. Thank you to our sponsors. We love you guys, Big Jeff. All right, brother, we're into the bye week. Not a ton of news. You know, you had the trade deadline. That's really been the big thing on the radar the past couple weeks, actually. So we had talked about it last time, and you know, we were both saying, you know, a defensive player, a rusher specifically would be something that would make sense. But like you said, Nostradamus, Jestradamus, you said no in Veach, he's going to get an offensive player, and son of a gun, that's what.
Sure enough, I think he treated the trade deadline like the draft. When you got a really good team, I mean, obviously there's some holes we could fill here and there, but it's not a glaring weakness with this team.
Right.
Everyone's going to pass rush, but I think we have some guys that can rush the passer. They just got to get their footing. But he added value. He saw the best player in his eyes that he could get at good value with Kadarius Tony out of New York. I think this guy has sky high potential. Right. Obviously, there's risk involved dealing with injuries and his off the field stuff that, you know, the media talks about. So I'm excited to see him in a great organization with a coach like Andy Reid who knows how to deal with tons of personalities and in an offense that's going to create plays to get him the ball in space because he's elusive, he's fast, he's a playmaker. It's just another threat for this entire organization and Patrick Mahomes.
No, it's great. And I saw because I know he's a former first-round pick, right? I mean, what was that, 2 years ago?
Yeah, he hasn't played much football, but the games he's played, he's been electric.
Well, I saw somebody put his highlights from college up.
Yeah.
And it was clear, like he was a man amongst boys out there. I mean, he looked legit. And you're putting him with Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes. So, like you said, I mean, that's a great you can't get any better setup than that. It is interesting, though. I'd love to get a coach on here at some point to talk about sort of how you deal with these players. So you have it seems like you have two sorts of coaches. You have those coaches who come in and it's their way or the highway, right? Yeah. And they're those type of coaches, right? The Bill Belichick's, the Eric Mangini's, the Brian Dayballs.
Yeah,
they're not going to butt well with certain personalities.
No,
and it doesn't matter how good those players are. They're going to ship them out because those kind of coaches care much more about
The team, and not to say that coaches that like Coach Reid is kind of the polar opposite of those guys,
right.
but he has the same he garners the same respect without the fear,
right.
Because Coach Reid's no nonsense, but those guys they go by a different book. Coach Reid, you can see the way he calls plays. He's super creative. He knows how to get the best out of his guys on and off the field. And some guys are either you're going to dress up, put your button all the way to the top and tuck your jersey in, socks knee high, or you're going to get the fuck out of here.
That's right. No, that's exactly right.
And Andy Reid you can do your things your own way as long as you're within these lines that I have in place and you're not detrimental to the team. We can figure out ways to make you a better human being and a better football player.
Yeah. No, that's exactly right. And I think just like players, too, I mean, when you look at your captains of a team, right, or your leaders of a football team, generally speaking, I'd say 99% of the time, those are the guys who also do a hell of a job producing on Sundays, right? I mean, it's not just some guy who's a great leader, but maybe doesn't, give you that production on the field. No, it's very rarely that. It's usually always the guys who have that resume. And I think the one thing that allows, or there's a number of things for just being a great coach, but his resume, Andy Reid's resume, allows him to sort of to walk that line where he can have these players come in and let them be themselves, but at the same time they recognize, hey, this is Hall of Fame coach Andy Reid. Yeah. Right. So like I think of the Le'Veon Bell situation. Remember, it was Le'Veon Bell that came out
a couple years ago or a year ago, whatever it was.
And he tried to say that something bad about Andy Reid. And it was like so quick because you knew this guy's resume. It was so quick to recognize it's your stuff, brother. Yeah. That's definitely your stuff. So
he admitted that later down the road.
Did he?
Yeah, I didn't see that. Sometimes you have to mature, and from his perspective, that's just how he felt. And sometimes we could be dead wrong and don't know it.
Well, that's good.
It takes a little bit of humbling and growing up and looking at things from a different perspective to realize, looking back on moments where you thought you were right, that you were wrong.
Right. No, I know. And that's good. That's good that he did that. And my point wasn't so much to bash him, but just to say, it's just everybody there's just so much respect for that man. You know what I mean? That you almost can't come in with the egos and the and any of that. And I remember too being there, my first couple of weeks there, recognizing all the rules that he does put in place, he has a reason for. Yes. Like you don't have to do this random stuff just because he wants to be a dick, just power trip as a coach. Like he has a reason for every rule that's in place. And there's no sort of arbitrary rules just to have rules. And so I think the guys respect the hell out of that too.
And that's the thing. I talked about letting you be yourself within the lines. Like he has his lines, he has his boundaries. Obviously he has his set of rules, but within that, he allows you to be yourself. There's some coaches that they have their rules, the guidelines, and you have to follow them to a T, and they want to change your personality.
Right.
And that doesn't go really well, especially with guys with big personalities. Right. That will never go well. So he knows a way how to manipulate some guys, he just has a special gift, man. Like I can't really explain it. Guys are being themselves and feeling really good about it, but there's a respect with Coach Reid that you're not going to cross that line.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. So good. So we get Tony in. Again, if it works, great. It's not. It's what is it? What's
we got?
It's all win, no loss. You know what I mean? It's like if he's good, it's good.
I think there's obviously risk with the individual player, but I don't think it's going to make or break the organization. I think if he is what they think he is, though, there's a super high ceiling, and this could be one of the greatest trades in Chiefs history. But if it doesn't work well, it's not going to go down as the worst. So
right. And if anybody can maximize those the potential of a player, it's Andy Reid and that offense. So all right, so Fenton is out, right? Fenton is out. That was the sort of that was the trade out of Kansas City.
Yeah.
Not super surprising, right? I mean, that was it kind of frees up some cap space.
Yeah, it frees up some cap space. It's a guy that they weren't going to re-sign after the year. So it was like, let's get something for him because we believe in these young guys. It was more of a forward-thinking move. McDuffie's back. He's activated off of IR. So those are guys that they believe in. That's the future of this organization in the defensive backfield, and they're going to roll with it.
Right. Yeah. So somewhat uneventful trade trade deadline, but that's okay. I mean, anything we talked about D-line, wide receiver. We added wide receiver, obviously, but the additions right now would have been sort of the cherry on top. But this team didn't need, this team is up, it's Buffalo and Kansas City right now.
Yes.
I mean, those are the two teams. And so we're good. We're in good shape. Sometimes it's better, especially when you're in that position, to not take any big risks, not take any big gambles. There's just no need right now. And
obviously the fans want something to happen every single trade deadline because it's exciting. You always want to add good players and good pieces,
right.
But you got to think of the bigger scheme of things. Like there's so much in the works that's going to happen a year from now, 2 years from now.
Exactly.
Coach Reid and Brett Veach, they have to calculate and think about. My brain is spinning right now thinking about it. I don't want to think about it. But there's a lot that goes on, the cap, many different reasons why things are done and not done.
That's another. We need to get a general manager.
We need somebody on here so they can talk about the strategy behind that. It's really chess. I mean,
it is, but it's so funny because the world that we experience as players is very much sort of
it's day to day.
Right. Yeah, it's just right in front of you. Like you don't. You and we'll get on, talk about not thinking down the road. We'll talk about life after this and the documentary that you were in. But you're just thinking about the next day. It seems like football is never about the long term. It's all about, we got to win on Sunday, get whoever's in here to do that. And yet the general managers, the head coaches, they do have to play this long-term game that seems so abstracted away from what the NFL is like on the day-to-day basis. So
yeah, it's crazy, and they do that with not even knowing if they're going to be a part of that picture down the road. Like
right. That's right.
It's such a volatile game. Like the turnover is crazy from the front office down to the 53rd man on the roster. Like it's day to day for everyone, but they also have to think about the organization's future.
Right.
And a lot of times, with the way things happen, a lot of coaches and GMs, they're on the move a lot.
Yeah, imagine trading away to get like 2 or 3 first-round picks, and then
now that happens all the time. That sucks. That freaking sucks. I mean, I'm trying to think of a football equivalent, but more recently, and not more recently, but the one that I can remember is the Golden State Warriors when Steve Curry took over for Mark Jackson. I mean, that had to suck seeing Mark Jackson build that entire organization, bringing those players, and then Steve comes in and he wins the championships. Like that is like, man, that has to be a dagger to the heart. But obviously, Steve Kerr's a hell of a coach.
Right.
And they made the move for a reason, but like that has to hurt. I see it. I mean, Tony Dungy and with the Buccaneers. And
yes, that's right.
Ricky comes in, the rookie head coach, and wins the championship the following year.
Man,
it's like I built this, but like another guy comes in. Was I really the guy holding us back, or was it just right place, right time?
Right. Rex Ryan in New York in 2009. I mean, we didn't go and win the championship, but Eric Mangini for the first, that 3 years had built up that roster, and then they fire Mangini. Rex comes in, he drafts Mark Sanchez, but basically the nucleus was there. Yeah. And then, we go to the AFC Championship game. So, no, that hurts, man. The NFL can be ruthless.
Yeah.
All right, brother, let's transition to, before we transition, let's do this. We got to pay the bills around here.
Have to pay the bills, man.
Let's go ahead and go to this ad real quick, and we'll be right back.
Hey, sorry to interrupt, but I need to tell you about one of today's sponsors, and that is Liquid Death. Listen, you might be in a meeting, you might be walking through Hy-Vee, Target, and start to notice some strange tall boys of beer in the bottled water section of your local stores. No need to get anybody. It's not beer. It's actually mountain spring water from the Alps, and it's called Liquid Death. Now, why is this water called Liquid Death? Well, it'll brutally murder your thirst. That is right. Not only are they trying to brutally murder your thirst, they're trying to brutally murder plastic pollution as well with their infinitely recyclable tall boy cans. They're bringing death to plastic pollution, and they also donate 10% of their profits from every can sold to kill plastic pollution. Great cause. That's a win-win for me. Look at this. I mean, just look at this can right here. I've got one right with me. The Severed Lime, one of my favorite flavors that they have. Oh, it's so good. Can't wait to dive into this one. You can find a Liquid Death at your local Target, Walmart, or 7-Eleven, or go to a Liquid Death retailer near you. Find one with their store locator tool at liquiddeath.com/KCSN.
All right, Big Jeff, let's talk about life after.
Yes,
This is
sir.
a documentary. We talked about this last time, a documentary that you did. Thomas Jones was the producer, also part of it. It's on Amazon Prime right now. Everybody should go check it out. It's really cool. Well, I think it was, what was it, 8 or 9 episodes?
There's 8 episodes that
8
features
episodes.
12 different guys.
Yes.
It's an awesome docuseries. It's something that, like I said last episode, it's something that was necessary. Shout out to Thomas Jones for bringing this to light, because we all make this transition. Obviously, we have resources. We have the NFLPA, the Players Trust. There's things for players that can create that community, resources that we can tap into. But there hasn't been anything that showed the public, necessarily what we go through. And I know you may see it like, oh, this is something that guys have done their entire lives.
Right.
And many guys, no matter if you played, one season in the NFL, or if you play 20, it's going to stop. But it's tough, man. It doesn't matter how many championships you win. Doesn't matter how much money you make. For the most part, for majority of the guys, it wasn't really about the money. It was about doing something that you love. And whether it was snatched away, whether father time caught up with you, whether you made the decision, it's still tough to transition.
I mean, look at, there's so many angles we can take here, but listening to what you just said, it reminded me of Tom Brady's situation. So, we don't know all the details and everything that's going on there, but you can't help but think that one of the factors playing into everything that went on with him and his wife and getting divorced was football. I mean,
it's a gift and a curse. And I don't want to touch on this personal relationship with his wife, but I can speak from my perspective as a player. And just that transition, I know he probably retired and he felt like that was the best thing to do. But while he was sitting at home, he realized, like, hey, maybe I got one last shot. I don't feel like this was the end, and I don't want to regret it. So he took that chance to go back. But man, it's freaking tough. It's tough. This guy has I don't know how much, like $100 million media deal sitting on the table. Like, he could have made more money talking about football than playing football. Right. But it's about the love. Like I said, it's not about the money. But Tom's going to have to figure it out. He's one of those guys, like all of us. He has 7 Super Bowls, a crap ton of money, but yet football, it's so hard to let it go. You got to figure it out.
I think about his situation, and it's like, think of the highs in his career, and I can't, the highs in my career and your career. Well, you won the Super Bowl, but like the highs in my career, nothing on the other side of football comes anywhere close to those times. You think of Tom Brady's career. I mean, he's played more playoff games than I played in regular season games. I mean, this dude this dude's played in so many big time football games, won so many Super Bowls, been the best player in the NFL year in and year out. It's somewhat of a paradox, but it's like the other side of football for him. I can't imagine it's going to be hard.
It's tough to adapt. I mean, not only the competitive nature of it and the daily grind, like you respect that, but the locker room aspect, you'll never get that again. That brotherhood and banding together and all fighting for the same goal. I mean, you can kind of get into corporate structure, but it's not the same, and it never will be. So he knew that immediately when he retired. He's like, man, one more shot. I don't know. Let me run it back. Who knows? Who knows what he might do now? But it's tough. That feeling is fleeting. Like, you want to continue to feel that. And I think for me, what really helped me when I retired was getting into entrepreneurship, because it's really a direct parallel with being an athlete. The difference is on this side is I'm now the general manager. I'm now having to make those tough decisions that, Andy Reid and Brett Veach have to think about, and forward thinking and thinking about the company. But it's a challenge. So every single day I'm learning something new. I'm adapting, and I'm pushing myself mentally in the same way that I was doing mentally and physically in football. And it's fun, man. So that's what I have right now. But every guy has to find something that gives them somewhat of a feeling of football. You'll never get that exact feeling, but you got to get somewhat of a feeling like that.
I couldn't agree more. And I think one thing that player development, the player development group in these different each team has a
Same
player
as-
development.
yeah.
A player development department. One thing that, and I know they try to do this, and I know as a player, again, we talked about it before, it's very hard to think down the road. But I think one of the worst pieces of advice I received when I retired, and it's nobody's fault. The piece of advice makes sense, but one of the worst pieces of advice that I received was to not get into anything right away, to take my time, to relax, put my feet up. That was awful.
Yes.
That was awful, because now all you do is sit around and think. And you think about not playing football. You think watching the guys play football. And so what I was saying about player development departments is, forcing guys to just start small, but start putting together a blueprint for possible avenues to get into right after you get done. I think for most guys, and I think the Life After documentary spoke to this. It's no good to have time to do nothing. You should, we're not 65, 70 years old. These are young guys retiring. You got to get into whatever's next. And like you said, Jeff, it's not going to be like football, but it's going to be something to sink your teeth into, to build a routine, to have goals. I think that is key. And I think player development departments have to start working on that sort of curriculum. And I'm sure they do.
That's great advice. I think I've heard that too. Like, take a break, you deserve it. Kick your feet back, like take a year off, take 2 years off. I would say that is a very bad idea. I took like maybe 2 months off and I felt like I was losing my mind. So I got right back into it from the business side of things. Started working out again, moving around. Also moved that body around because those joints stiff up really fast.
Real quick.
So keep moving your body. But that's one of the best pieces of advice, man. Challenge yourself. Honestly, that's why I got into podcasting. I grew up a kid that stuttered. Like I stuttered. I had a problem with public speaking, all these different things. So I've always worked toward being the best at this, or trying to be the best, or be better than what I was before, just to challenge myself. So always give yourself a challenge. Even if you fear something on the other side of it, just go for it. Like, you're a fucking fearless warrior playing football. Like, you can do anything. And that's what I would tell you guys. You can do anything. Don't be afraid to do something new or try something new, because you're going to have to do something new. Right. Football isn't forever.
No, it's exactly right. And one thing I can speak to as well is sort of not just my mental health, but like my cognitive ability. Like, you talked about moving the body around. Like, I feel like if I don't work my brain out like I do my body, I start to do crazy shit. I put the steak in the in the cupboard. You know what I mean? Like, I start doing this. I forget things. Like, you start doing this weird stuff. So it's like another. So going back to that point you made about keeping the body going, keeping the mind going as well, because I'm sure a lot of these guys, they just start shutting everything off, and the brain just especially all the hits and everything.
It's challenging. I would encourage people to look at every single episode, because you can learn something that you can apply to your life. Not just being an athlete. Like, everyone makes a transition at some point, and when it comes, you need to be prepared. Thomas Jones was the first episode, or he's the second episode, not the first. But he just talked about, like, he found himself, like, first thing in the morning, waking up, drinking beer.
Yeah, that's it.
Just drinking every single day, all day. And like, he wasn't a drinker while he played. Like, he was strict to his diet. He had a routine. But then once football was over, he found himself in this dark place, just a depression and not knowing what was next. A guy that is one of the 27 guys in NFL history to have over 10,000 yards rushing. Broke down there every record in college. This guy has so many accolades in the football arena, yet he felt like a failure when it was done.
Exactly.
And that's how most guys feel. Like, you can accomplish the world, but once you're done, that those claps stop. You're not getting that validation from the outside world. You don't have fans. People aren't checking in on you, and you feel worthless in a sense. But I would tell these guys, like, you have value. You are somebody. Like, you are great. Take those same characteristics from football and apply them to anything. Like, you're a leader. You're a leader of men. Like, there's not many people on this earth that have the accountability aspects that you have. Like, the ability to adapt, the ability to persevere, to get knocked down and get back up. Like what you have isn't normal, but to you it was.
Exactly.
So understand that you're a special human being with a special set of skills. You're almost like, I sound like Liam Neeson. What's his name from Taken?
Yeah.
I'm a special set of skills. But you truly are a special human being. And you're a fucking superhero. Like there's kids that look up to you. There's so many people in this world that care about you. Never feel like you're alone.
Hey, sorry to interrupt again, but I've got to tell you about our sponsor, Trade Coffee. And going to a coffee shop is a great experience, but it's not something most of us can do every day. If you're looking for that delicious local coffee shop taste on a daily basis, it's so much easier to get that with Trade Coffee. Trade Coffee is a coffee subscription service that makes it so easy for you to discover new coffees and make your best cup of coffee at home every day. No fancy equipment needed. It's wonderful. Whether you know what you're doing and you already know what kind of coffee you like, or you're looking and you need some help, Trade makes it easy and convenient to discover new coffees. They'll send you ground coffee or whole beans or however you make it your coffee at home. They will send it to you. It's absolutely perfect. It's a win-win in my book there. Here's how you got to do it. You're going to upgrade your coffee today with Trade Coffee and let them take the guesswork of finding your perfect cup. Right now, Trade is offering listeners a total of $30 off their subscription, plus free shipping at drinktrade.com/KCSN. That's drinktrade.com/KCSN for $30 off your subscription to the best coffees in the country. drinktrade.com/KCSN.
Look at the success stories. I mean, I saw it with DeMarcus Ware, with TJ, with Spice.
Yeah.
It's just the things that made us good football players, the intangible aspects of the game, not the sort of stuff on the field, but like the hard work, the dedication, the teamwork. Thomas Jones, there's a scene where the acting coach is talking about when TJ came on, he thought, I'm going to have to deal with this personality. This guy's going to think he knows it all. And two, he's not going to have the skills or whatever. And he said quite the opposite. He came in super humble, looking for help, and he said, I'm paraphrasing. He said, I was blown away by the fact that he actually got the other actors to meet offset to practice their lines together. He said, nobody does that. He said, but he learned that.
He learned that playing football, man.
Exactly.
The amount of time we spend off the field, bringing the position group in to come in early or stay late or trying to, collaborate and figure out how you seeing this. How do you see this? We should probably see this the same way. I see it this way, and we meet in the middle. You learn that being an athlete. You learn that being a team player. The humility of it. Like football is one of the most humbling games in the world. So if you're playing it for this long, like you have some sense of humility. You have to be able to persevere. You have to be able to. There are some divas here and there, but for the most part, guys are super humble. They're super respectful, and they understand the importance of team goals. They're driven by helping the men next to them. And those are skills and characteristics that I don't think I would have if I didn't grow up playing football, if I didn't play in college, if I didn't become a professional football player. I wouldn't be as selfless as I am today.
Exactly. And those, I think about that with my kids, right? Because you have to balance, the injuries and the head stuff and the body. But at the same time, it's like, yes, and you want to be aware of that. But at the same time, I think the upside, and not just about, hopefully they're great football players, but just what football teaches you, how football sort of shapes and molds you into a more resilient, rough, humble human being, just given the nature of the sport. It's like, I think this is worth it's one of those rare things you think with your kids, like this is worth the possible injury given, how great this game is.
The character that it builds, the grit, like you said, the toughness, not just physical toughness, the mental toughness. We go through some hard times. The failure of football, the amount of times that I failed playing football, the amount of times that I did feel like a piece of crap. Where coach would get on me, or maybe I got my job took one year. You have to figure out how to get over that and persevere and conquer that situation. And that's life. I mean, people are you're going to go through so many stages of life. And I'm sure there's some older folks that listen to our show. They have gone through things. They're going through things like like there's going to be things that you have to conquer.
Right.
Whether they're fears, whether there's illness that comes along, whether it be anything. There could be some really bad things that are going to happen in your life, but you can always come back from them if you have the right mindset. And
exactly.
I think football teaches you that.
No doubt. No doubt. And circling back to just sort of the difficulty of transitioning, one thing I love the analogy that Thomas Jones used about like being in a tornado, football being this chaotic, whatever it is, 18 years, 20 years, however long you play, this chaotic sort of just repeat of preparation, work, travel, violence, then repeat, prep, work, travel, violence, repeat. And then he said, all of a sudden you get spit out of the tornado.
Yeah.
And that thing just goes, and now you're just standing there. Right. And it's like, wait a minute, what's going on? What happened to the chaos? And I was starting to worry that I was the only one that still breaks down when you think back at your career, and to see that TJ got emotional, I was like, okay, it's still, even, and he's been out since 2011.
Yeah.
And you still see it still hits the guy. I mean, it's like, I guess it was a little bit discouraging in the sense that I was hoping that one day I would get over it, but it doesn't look like that's going to be.
You will get over it. I would say I'm at that point. I do miss football for sure. I miss a lot of the aspects of it. I miss the locker room. I miss game day, but I'm not in the place that I was 2 years ago. I can promise you that. I get better each year I'm removed, I've gotten better. Now I can go the opposite if your mindset is in the right place. But I would say, like, this too shall pass. I always tell myself that, like, no matter what the situation is, this too shall pass. And on the other end of the storm, you're always going to come out a better person. Like, you're in that storm, not to get defeated, but to come out the other side a better person. So understand that. Man.
Great stuff, Jeff. Listen, go check that out, Chiefs Kingdom. It's Life After, Amazon Prime. The episodes are 20, 25 minutes, 30 minutes long, and they're jam-packed with awesome stories and really give you a first-person perspective of what it's like to retire from the NFL. And I know, Jeff, we're already on 30 minutes. You and I,
we could talk all day about this.
All day about this one. But thank you, Chiefs Kingdom. Bye week now behind us. We are rocking and rolling, moving forward. We will see you next Tuesday after a W, recapping the game and catching up on all things Chiefs football from a player's perspective. Big Jeff, love you, brother. Everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. We'll see you next week.
Beat the Titans.